Here we go.
All right, hello landscapers. Welcome to our 4.0 training for landscapers on Greenzie's new software. I have with me David Jensen, our lead software robotics engineer. He's been instrumental, him and his team, on all the new features. So David, give us the run through. What are the 4 new things in Greenzie 4.0?
Sure. So the first one is that you can now map closer to obstacles. What we did is we redefined how we record the boundary, and that lets you get a lot closer to things in their environment to really clarify where the mower is allowed to operate.
Yeah.
The second is a brand new look. So we've completely revamped the user interface to make it smoother, clearer, get you the information you need to know right up front, and make it look a bit more modern. The third is that we've got brand new Y turns. So internally, we developed a tool that really let us fine tune that mower behavior as it goes through the turns. That lets us get smoother operation and reduce turf damage. And then the fourth is just reduced stops. We've gone through, we've made a lot of the software a lot more robust so that everything just works smoothly and you keep the mower going.
Awesome. Hey, well, David, thanks for your great work. I'll let you get back to it. I'm going to go through the rest of the features. There you go.
All right.
All right, so now I'm going to take you through starting up the Greenzie equipped mower from the beginning. Assume that this mower has just gotten off the trailer or inside the shed, and we're going to go from nothing to your first map and then all the way to reloading your map on the next time you come. I'm going to show you how easy it is. This mower is completely off. Brake is on. I've got my manual autonomous switch here. So I'm going to key on. I like to always key on first before I crank, and I'll tell you why in a second. The Greenzie system is booting up. The mower can still be operated manually. I could fully crank it and go back and forth. I'm not going to do it since I'm talking to you right now, but I'm going to show you what happens next. The Greenzie system takes about 30 to 90 seconds for it to fully turn on and for all the sensors to calibrate and to be able to autonomously mow. Like I said, while it's doing this, you can be taking it off the truck, getting it staged, getting it set up wherever you want to do. You can use it manually, again, as long as it's in this manual button here. All right, so we're almost ready here. When the solid light is flashing, that means that it is getting ready. One of the sensors is not quite ready. Once it goes solid, we're going to be ready to map and do our first map. So in the meantime, oh, there we go. We're already ready. Okay, you beat me to it. So one of the things I like to do is get set up. So I'm going to get my remote control. It's always charging in here, so I'm going to unplug it from the charger, one-handed here. I'm going to place this remote. I always like to wear this remote kind of like this with the side angle, right? So it's comfortable and I can still operate other equipment like another mower, an edger, trimmer, or a blower, other attachment. I'm going to close this back up. It's going to stay here, and I'm going to crank the mower here in a second. The other things I like to do is just quickly make sure that this one is tight, as well as make sure that this antenna is tight. I'm also going to turn this on. Okay, so once that's on, it should boot up, and it's just going to tell me press 1 to continue. All right, so I'll do that. So I'm ready. 6 miles an hour is my default speed, and you can see that on the remote. All right, I'm going to crank it, and I'm going to get ready to mow. Last thing I'll do is move over and actually take a picture here of the QR code and basically scan that. So it's going to load up the interface. This mower is called GCDev38. We can see the mower right there at Greenzie headquarters. It is exactly where I am on the map. You can see this is the new interface as we went over, map controls, and I can start a new job from here. So all right, I'm going to do that in a second, and I'm going to go ahead and crank it. I'm going to put it here in this little holder here to make it a little easier, and we're going to go ahead and crank. I'm going to go back to start, crank. All right, I'm going to get lined up to create my first map.
Audio gets a little bad here, but bear with me.
Create the map. I can either use the button here, or I can use the new interface. I'm going to click Create New Job, do a job perimeter, and I'm going to click Map. So once it starts mapping, what's really nice about the new interface is you can actually see a green line. I know I'm going really slow. I've got the throttle down so I can talk to you guys. Don't give me any crap, landscapers. I know this is slow, and you'd be going a lot faster. You'd also have the blades on while you're doing this so that you can record. Now I'm just going to do a small map here. I'm not going all the way to the edge or anything, just so I can show you guys how it all works. Again, I'm going real small here. You could do as big as you want here, but the most productive thing is probably to carve off the biggest area that the mower can do and not really worry about going all the way to the edge, even though you could. And to keep things like that inside the map, you need to use keep out zones, which we will show in a second. All right, as I get back to the start, you're going to see the map complete. There we go, we've got our map. Now this job is ready to go. So if I'm ready to engage autonomous mowing, which I am, the steps are very simple. I'm going to go through it with you over here. I'm going to switch back over to camera so you can see. All right, so the steps are, I want to turn my blades off, which they're already off. I'm going to switch the mower over to autonomous mode. It's going to take control of the throttle. Now I'm getting an error, and that's because I'm on the platform here. You're going to see an alert. It's going to say, hey, I can't start autonomous mowing. And that's because there's an obstacle here that sees me through this camera, and I'm on the platform. So as soon as we move away, that alert will clear, and I can engage autonomous mowing. So all alerts are clear, so I'll go back to the map. I can either press 1 on the remote, or I can simply press Start Job on here. Give it a name. We'll call this, I'll keep that name. Actually, I'll call it Landscaper Demo here, because that's what we're doing. So that's Landscaper Demo. Oh, my can't see because of these shades. So we'll just call this Demo. I'll hit Save on that, and it's time to start mowing. So I'm going to press and hold Mow here, 10 feet away, and the mower should turn on. And there we go. It's as easy as that to get started with autonomous mowing. So what the mower is going to do is basically go a boundary lap first, right? And I've got another video to show you this, so I'm going to pause this right here because we've got another video that shows that in much more detail, including how to do a keep out zone. So I'm going to go ahead and hit pause. I can do that from here, or I can do it from here. I'm going to pause the mower so that I can show you some other stuff, including the controls here. So on the controls page, we can change the obstacle detection modes. We can choose strict, default, or relaxed. We can also change the speed from here. And really, that's all we need to do. Now, if we want to load a job, it's quite easy to do. Okay, we can end this one here, which I'm going to go ahead and do, end this progress. And I'm going to load a previous job. So all you got to do is go to View My Jobs, and you can see the most previous jobs here. I'll go click on this one. We'll select this job. This one may not load because we've been testing 3.2. Okay, this one works because we did this one just a little earlier. This is a map we just did earlier. I can now change the settings on it. If I go to edit, I can change the stripe angle, which I can then do here, and you can actually see the stripes changing. I don't know if you can see that. So we can change it just a little bit and make it whatever we want. We can also change the overlap. If we want to do its default by 8 inches, we can also change that, and we can even have it repeat a few times. I can clone this, make a copy of it, and then I can save that. So if I wanted to do one angle the next week, the other angle the next week. All right, so I'm gonna save this job, and it's gonna be loaded on the mower, and then we can go ahead and load that job and hit go. So let's select that job, and again, we can just hit start and go. Now, I'm not gonna show you that because I wanna go show you another map with a drone footage so that you can see everything we're doing. Thanks.
All right, so not too shabby there. I see we have some Q&A happening. Let me see if I can get it here. Jennifer asks, how do you suggest handling customers that do not allow cameras on their properties but require open mowing? Jennifer, we have gotten this before. We have a lot of feedback. We've done it for military. We've done it for some automotive. I have some intel that I can give you. I'd like to get you offline. I've got your email, and I can give you some of the guidance that we've had. Usually when we get that, it's an IT person who's doing their job, and you know, they want to make sure that they want to see what the cameras see. So we have been able to get around that, but some people are pretty I'll call it persnickety a little bit, and I get it. There's you know, requirements on why they don't like that. Once we show them what the cameras see and how they see it and how the data is used, it usually gets past some of their IT requirements. But Jennifer, I would love to work with you on that. Great question, and we'll keep going. All right, so next up, as I promised, I wanted to show you guys the top-down view of the new mowing process. All right, mapping the perimeter, still the same. You're in the middle of this field right here is a volleyball court. You can I guess you can kind of see it. I don't know if you can see it too well. So let's go map the keep out zone. You press keep out zone, then you mow the outer boundary of it. Okay, so there's our keep out zone in the map. Now, when the new mowing process starts, the very first thing the software does is mow an inner boundary. So you can see that the mower is mowing an inner boundary around that. Now it goes into striping. So the striping is just as it did before, same as usual, perfect lines. Now, the new functionality is the first time when it encounters a keep out zone, it will go around that keep out zone. That is new. We used to just stripe. this new inner boundary around it, now you can see it's using that inner boundary around the keep out zone to do its turns, those nice Y turns that are non-rutting. So now you're going to see it's going to keep doing its striping. If it ever encounters another keep out zone, it'll do the same thing. It'll loop around it at that time. All right, I'm going to speed it up a little bit because we got a lot to cover and get through here because it's just mowing. Look at those straight lines. They line up perfectly on the other side of that obstacle, which is wild. It's really neat to see on a big map. Looks beautiful. All right, and then another new thing is when it's done, it turns off the engine. That's new. It used to keep the engine, or sorry, keep the blades on. It turns the blades off, and then it drives along the boundary to the start. So again, it's acting more like a human. It's more intuitive. We think you're going to love it. And we're really excited about this new perimeter mapping and the new process for doing the inner boundary, looping around obstacles, and then turning off the blades and then coming back to the start wherever you started. We think you're going to find it a lot more useful. This is what a lot of our customers have been asking for. All right, one more. We'll talk a little bit about
So in
mapping.
3.0, if you were going to map, close to this, we previously used to say leave 2 mower links, like my colleague David is doing. And that was so that the mower had room to turn in this sort of buffer area. In 4.0, though, no longer. In fact, David, if David's going to come back and map along here, with 4.0, if you wanted to.
I know this is a complicated and a lot of stuff on here, but I just want to show you guys what's new. That little dotted line is what we used to do in 3.0. Don't ask me why we did the midpoint. We're engineers. We thought it was smart. What we're doing now is we moved it over and are using the outer deck because we know the deck, whether it's a 72 inch or 60 inch or 61 inch, we know where the outer deck is. So we're going to use that outer edge of whatever the outer edge is. And if you do a keep out zone, we'll use the inner edge. We use that outer edge and then we define a buffer area and then we define an inner area. I'll keep going. And so,
mow this area. Now David is going to map that.
So here's how
and
you
he
do
can
it.
go right up to the edge of it. And that is because the mower is using the outer edge to define the map. We then go ahead and move in and do an inner boundary lap, and then we mow everything inside here. So it's much safer. Also in the interface, you can also see what it's doing. We denote the outside with a red line.
So again, just the new terms would be, we've got the working area, which is what you define, and then you've got the buffer area and then a mowing area. We really just want to keep with the working area and the mowing area. And this aligns with some of the safety standards that we're working with all the OEMs on.
We have yellow for the buffer area and then green for all the mowable area. And that works with any deck size, be it 72 inch, a 61 inch like this, or a 60 inch mower on any of the Greenzie equipped mowers. Thanks, David.
All right, so a little bit more drone footage of setting that boundary. I've got a video of my colleague Yorick, if you're a robotic technician, if you know Yorick. He's an excellent trainer. Some of you have been trained by him. I know that. Look at what he's doing along this outer boundary, this little grass line. There's some monkey grass there. You can see where his tire tracks are. This is him mapping the perimeter. You can see that tire track. Everybody note that tire track right here. You see that? All right, let's watch the mower autonomously mow that area. So it's going to mow everything to the right of that. So let's see what happens. We set the stripe angle going left to right to see what happens on this boundary. You can see because it did an inner boundary, it's inside the inner boundary. It never goes outside that outer path, right? We've still got a whole nother 1.5 out there that we can do that we've already mowed. So the mower will stay away. Again, much safer, much more precise. There's no more guessing. There's no more, hey, leave 10 to 12 feet. You mow right where you want it, and the mower moves inside and mows everything inside there. This is also nice when you reload a job. When you reload a job, we do not mow the perimeter anymore. We mow that inner boundary lap, and then we mow everything inside. Now, all right, if I was a smart landscaper like a lot of y'all, I probably would not be doing this area with the autonomous. I would probably be doing this area way out here in the back. You see all this acreage? This is a great site for autonomous, by the way. I would be doing all this with autonomous, and then I'd be on another mower here, hopefully a sit down with a nice cup holder and all my attachments, and I'd be tackling this area closer to the house, the pool house over here. I would be doing this while the other mower is doing over here, and I would time it so that I would end at the same time the mower ends. That way I've got a two-man crew with one person. And that's how we're going to see the most productivity. We don't think that you're going to get a lot of productivity by going right up against the edge and really trying to eke out everything with the autonomous mower. You're still going to get the best productivity if you set this mower up on a big old plot, let it rip. and then go do other work while this thing does. We know that to be the case. We have the ROI, and the landscapers are doing that who are getting a massive savings. All right. That is it for everything that I wanted to share with you guys. I am right at about 5 minutes, so I'm going to open it up for more questions. I do know that we've gotten a few questions, so I'll go ahead and answer some of those. Thanks, Jennifer, for the call. Okay, here's one. So can we get closer to obstacles? Oh, okay, so the answer to that is no. Well, yes and no. Let me explain why. If there is an obstacle in the middle of the field, we still use our 10 to 12 or 2 mower length safe distance from that obstacle. So you'll still see it do a nice circle. So if you doing a demo or you want to stand out there, we don't recommend it, but if you put a cone or something like that out there, it'll still go 10 to 12 feet around it. So we encourage you, if you know there are obstacles, to use the keep out zones and mark those. However, so let's go back to that video. Let me go back to my share and see if I'll share it to you. If there are obstacles on the boundary, like that line, that those bushes, we do, since you've told us that this area is outside, we don't dilate those obstacles as much. So we have a safe distance there. So the mower will go closer to those. So the answer is yes, it will, but only if you've told it that the outer perimeter, everything beyond this is safe is not a part of the mowing area. But anything inside the mowing area, we are very safe on. So the answer is inside the mowing area, obstacles inside of it, we still use a very safe distance around. Obstacles outside the boundary, you can still go closer to as long as you use the new 4.0 to map. We will use those as your guidance to say, hey, this is the edge. Do not go anywhere near it. So we will go a little bit closer on the edge there. So the answer is yes and no. Encourage you to give it a shot. We've got more videos on this coming out on Monday, very specifically about this, and we'd love your feedback. So if it works for you, let us know. Let's see. More questions. Do I have to remap all my jobs? No, the answer is absolutely not. All jobs that were mapped on 3.0 and 2.0 and 1.0 before that will still work. Sorry, we rolled it out in 2.0. So all jobs that you mowed last season will work with new 4.0. Do not need to re-record. We use a sensible, safe distance to record that outer boundary based on the deck width, because we know the deck width of your mower. We record that, we dilate it, and so all those jobs will. You may want to re-record the keep out zones because you're going to be able to get closer to those. So you may want to, but we're going to leave that up to you. But you don't have to remap any of your jobs. Let's see. Another question. Will it mow the perimeter? So the answer is no. We no longer mow the perimeter because we do an inner boundary pass, which is, basically about 1 mower length in. It's theoretically mowing the perimeter, but it does it on the start, right? And we no longer mow the exact same thing you did. So if you load a job, it now does the same thing as if you just mapped the job. It mows an inner boundary perimeter and then mows everything inside that. And that's nice and makes sense because it's the same thing that it does it the same for a reloaded job or a job that you just mapped. Let's see. What happens? Oh, it's a duplicate question. What happens when you reload a job from before 4.0? Exactly same thing. Those jobs all still work. When you reload a job, we dilate the boundary a little bit to make it work with 4.0. All those jobs will still work. Again, you may want to re-record some of those to take advantage of some of the newer features of being able to map closer to obstacles, especially with the keep out zones. But you do not need to. And again, you can still edit the jobs the same way. You can load a job from 4.0, click and edit those keep out zones, add new ones, and then hit save. Awesome questions. All right. Any other questions? All right. I see one more. Let's see. Anonymous says, any distributors in British Columbia, Canada yet? Let me hook you up. Glad you joined. Yeah, I believe we do. And so I'll hit you up in an email with that. I would check Wright's website and check Mean Green's website. But also go to greenzie.com and find a dealer, and we'll see if we can get you hooked up. You can also email me cbq@greenzie.com, and we'll see if we can hook you up. I don't have the distributor map in front of me, but we can definitely get you hooked up. We do work in Canada, and I do know that there are some distributors. I know Pro Power, and I don't know if they're in your area. I don't know my Canada geography yet. I'll apologize for that. All right. No more questions. I will end it and give you back the rest of your day. Hey, thanks attendees. You'll get a video copy of this to everyone. Please feel free to forward it along. We got one more tomorrow at 11 if you want to tune in or tell somebody to tune in. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day. Thanks, everybody.